Back on the SportsMax Zone. We're still talking football. Delegates of the Grenada Football Association, the GFA, last Saturday elected former FIFA regional manager and attorney at law Marlon Glean as their new president in elections held at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium's conference room and observed by officials from FIFA and CONCACAF. Glean unseated the incumbent Cheney Joseph by 13 votes to 8. Only one member of the previous executive, Randy Campbell, managed to win a place on the new leadership team. Campbell, who previously served as a parish director, is now the second vice president. And we are pleased to be joined by Marlon Glean, who was on the show last week prior to those elections. Marlon, let me start here. Congratulations on being given the top job in the Grenada Football Association. Can you talk to us briefly about what has happened since your election and the kind of platform you have set to start your job?
Thank you very much, Lance, for having me on your show once more. And have a good afternoon to all your listeners and viewers, wherever they may be at this point. So on Monday, we visited the Football Association's office for the first time. We met with the assistant or the acting general secretary and also the head men's national team coach. We had a meeting there. Last week we talked about the state of the Football Association, especially the finances. And I shouldn't say I was shocked, but we were made aware that the accounts of the FA is literally on zero. Additionally, we've been told that we're owing creditors somewhere in the vicinity of over $300,000.
EC?
So that was
300,000 EC?
EC dollars. Mm-hmm. So, between 2020 and today, we received 12.7 million EC dollars. And to learn that we have $0 in the FIFA forward account right now, it's kind of shocking. But we have to do what we have to do. We knew coming in, the finances would have been a challenge. We knew presently there are three. We need to prepare 3 national teams for competitions in August. We also learned that we have a U14 national or U14 national team is scheduled to participate in the CFU competition on July 13th or so, and we've yet to have a team in training. So immediately we tried to pull all our resources together. We're going to have an open tryout in the different parishes on Saturday, and then we're going to select parish teams to play at a competition next week, Saturday and Sunday, to try to get a pool of players together, and we'll have probably about 5 weeks to prepare them for our CFU under 14 competition in Dominican Republic. So it's going to be a challenge, but we know exactly what we plan to do. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop us from executing our plans. We still believe that we need to enhance the league. We need to enhance the Premier League. We need to move the prize money from $50,000 for the first prize to $100,000. We need to ensure that all our national teams are fully staffed and prepared to participate in competition. We also had a conversation with the senior men's national team. I expressed to him my disappointment in the way the team was structured. He admitted that 65% of the players are players coming from the UK. I said to him, our next match is against the US in March next year. And my hope is that we'll have 65% homegrown players, together with a few players from abroad that'll complement our local players. And effective immediately, I'm hoping we can put together a local-based pool of players that can start preparing for the given match.
Yeah, so I understand now why we tried to get in touch with you on Monday, Marlon, and you were inaccessible.
Yeah, it was a busy day on Monday.
All right. You mentioned while we were talking to you before the elections, and you touched on it just now, about the reliance on overseas-based players. And part of your discontent would have been, overseas players that didn't have, an impressive CV, players from the 5th and 6th tier in English football. And you were convinced that, they are local homegrown players, or maybe even players, maybe in the USA or something that may be better equipped to handle international football than those that the coach had been using. So based on what you just said, he sounded receptive to your suggestion that you would like to see more opportunities given to locally produced players?
Yeah, he was receptive. In the conversation with him, he said that he was working on it. He didn't want to just drastically change the team immediately, but he said with time the team is going to change. He's provided some examples as to what he's done over the last couple months. But he did also promise come September in the next FIFA window that he's going to further shave the team or reduce some of the older guys, some of the guys who are not playing at high levels, especially the UK players. And he did accept or admit that he can open the door to have a look at some more local players.
So Marlon, again, congratulations. So you've given us an overview of the financial situation. You say 300,000 EC in debt, 12.7 million received over 2.5 years. That has just evaporated in terms of what it was intended to be spent on. And again, just to be clear, you're not claiming or stating impropriety or anything, just that the money was badly spent. So the obvious question is this: from an operational perspective, your operating account, is there money to tide the association over until the end of this quarter, until the start of the September quarter, until the end of the year? Where are you operationally with funding what you have to do over the next 3 to 4 months?
The next disbursement of FIFA forward funds come in July, the first week of July. So we literally have to get through the month of June. I know there is some funds from CONCACAF somewhere that we may have access to. Our finance department is working with CONCACAF now to provide some support there or make a release there. But in terms of the FIFA forward funds, and that's what I had spoken to you about last week, the FIFA forward funds, the FIFA forward account is zero. There's no funds in it. And the next disbursement would be in July, the first week or so in July this year.
And so you would have already communicated to your creditors asking them to hold straight. Are any of those bills due, that 300,000 EC? Are any of those due, overdue? What's the state of that?
It seemed like some are overdue. It seemed like we may have to make some payments soon, especially for airline tickets, hotels that was used over the last couple months or so. As you made the point, I'm not alleging that anyone would have misappropriated or would have stolen the funds from anywhere. I think we did a lot of bad spending. Just today, I got a report saying that we spent over about approximately 700,000 EC dollars. So that would be probably about 260,000 US dollars on two items that were never budgeted. Somewhere in February, someone with the wisdom decided to do a camp in Miami for local players. Now, we did the camp in January or February, and we didn't play until June. And then when they actually played in June, we only used probably about 5 or 6 of these local players. So there was a camp in Miami for 20 players, 25 players, when in reality, we only used 6 of these players. So I'm not sure as to what the thinking was there. We also went over to Europe and played against 2 teams, one ranked 206 in the world. When we already 169, so we're actually better than them. But we went to Europe and spent about 140,000 US or so to do that trip to Europe when we did not budget for that trip also. So it's a lot of bad spending, a lot of bad decisions. We also paid an agent $20,000 US dollars to give us a game against a country who's ranked 206 in the world. I need someone to explain to me in this modern day of football, how do you pay an agent $20,000 US dollars to give you a game against Gibraltar? I mean, I'm puzzled by this.
Wow.
And Andorra, I think they played Andorra as well.
Yes,
they played whoever brokered those 2 games received $20,000 US dollars.
Wow.
Gibraltar and Andorra.
That's shocking. That's shocking, Marlon. So tell me, the women's football program. And even before we get to the women's football program, I noticed when you answered a previous question that Lance posed, you said that, you were making suggestions to your coach. So I'm asking, well, management styles differ. I would expect, Marlon, that you would be giving your national coaches mandates. You'd be giving them a charge saying, look, this is what we, the executive, expect. And also the issue of your technical committee, which is just as important as the executive, if not in some cases more important. The technical committee, Marlon, that you're going to be putting together to manage the football side of things while you and your team deal with the administrative side of things. Talk to us about that.
We're just about to start the process of putting those committees in place. So as of present, the last technical committee would have expired at the election. Our first executive committee meeting is going to be this Saturday, and we're going to make a number of decisions, including looking at some of those committees. But our national team coach, I met with him briefly. He was right about to take another flight off to Canada. Okay. He's literally based in Canada. What I said to him is, I need us to open back our selection, our process of selecting the national team for the upcoming window in September to our local players. We have over 200 players playing in the Grenada Premier League, and unfortunately, we're only giving opportunities to about 6 or 7 of them. Mm-hmm. Now I'm saying, let's look at 30 or 40 of them over the next couple months and give them an opportunity.
So that's more mandate than suggestion.
That's a mandate.
There you go.
We have one kid who's been the leading scorer in every version of football in Grenada for the last 5 years, and he's not even in the national team.
Yes.
And his club right now is top of the Premier League. They had this parish competition recently, and he was top scorer, Golden Boot, and the MVP, and he's not even considered on the national team.
Yeah.
Now someone need to explain, how does this thing work?
Yeah. Well, that's the question we'll be asking you if you don't hear him in the national team very soon. But here's the thing now. Your technical committee, you say that, of course, the previous one would have died a natural death with the change in administration. Are you minded at this early stage to bring back anyone who served, or are you going clean slate?
We have to revisit the technical committee. Honestly, I'm not even sure as to who makes up the technical committee. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure the technical committee has been active. So I think the selection process really lies within the president, the previous president, the technical director, and probably the head coach.
Yeah, and that's bad. That's bad policy.
I'm not sure. We do not have a policy on selection. We do not have a selection committee. We just pick a bunch of guys and then they're on the national team.
And so you're saying to the Caribbean today, Marlon Glean, that you will do things differently. Are you committing to putting a technical committee in charge, giving it autonomy over player selection, over squad selection, and of course then the technical director and the national coach then do the team selection? Is that what you're committing to, or are you going to keep everything close to your office?
Things must change. We failed. This organization is literally a failed organization. So we have to build it back. And in building it back, we have to do the football right. We have to do it like the rest of the world. So we have to, going forward, we must put together a competent technical team. Because at the end of the day, we're in the business of football. And if we're not doing the football right, then obviously we're a failed organization.
Yeah.
So we must put together the right individuals around the country. We know the experts in football in Grenada. We just need to put them together and let them do their work.
Yeah.
We have not been able to tap into some of our older coaches, some of our more experienced coaches, some of our more successful coaches. We haven't been able to use these guys over the years. Matter of fact, I know about 3 or 4 coaches. One coached me at the under-16 national team. One coached me at the senior national team. And these guys have been sidelined and not being used because they're told they're too old. And I'm saying to them that this is madness. These are the guys who would have guided my career from under 15 to senior national team. Yes. Now they're sitting there watching the football and cannot contribute.
Yes. The 8 parish association, well, the 8 delegates rather, who didn't support you in the elections. I'm going to ask a question because I know that it is the norm when you have 2 horse races, as you went up against Cheney Joseph head to head. The delegates support one man and the other man doesn't get enough support, then his allies, of course, are those who voted for him, and those who didn't support him stay in almost an opposition column. Are you intending to reach out to the 8 that were not supporting you last Saturday? And what is it that you'll be saying to them to get them into the fold to contribute to the development of the football?
With this football organization, we need everybody on board. Honestly, I don't think the people who voted against me are anti-Marlon Glean or anti his programs. I think, the president has been there for about 12 years, and I think he would have had relationships, you would have garnered relationships over the 12 years. You would have had really close friends in the football over the last 12 years. And some of the clubs, some of the delegates felt compelled to vote for him because they're good friends. And I have to understand that. And I have no problems with that whatsoever. But what I can say going forward is I'm here to provide support. I'm here to lead the entire organization and everyone that makes up the organization.
But here's the thing. Sorry, Marlon. Here's the thing, though, Marlon. In that situation, I've heard presidents come into office and say this, and then I've heard delegates who didn't support them say, well, I heard him on the program talking about he has an open door policy. But they are upset because very often the president doesn't reach out to them, almost as if the president sits and expects them to come to him. The question to you is, are you going to actively seek to foster these good relations with the 8 who didn't support you to get them behind the football program that you're implementing?
So in all honesty, I don't think the relation's been fractured. I've never had any issues with these individuals. I mean, even at the Congress last Saturday, I spoke with literally everyone who voted against me. So I don't think there is any issue. I don't think there's any bad blood. I don't think anyone voted because they didn't like me or I don't like them or there is any. I literally spoke with every club in there that didn't vote for me. So the relationship is good. There is obviously relationships between them and the past president over a period of time, and they went with the past president, and that is understandable. I had no problems with that. But to your question, I am willing to work with everybody. I am going to meet with everybody. All the clubs that did not vote for me, I am going to meet with them, and I'm going to do football for everybody, and everybody is going to be able to participate in the football and own the football. This is not about me. At the end of the day, this is not about Marlon Glean, president, but this is about the Grenada Football Association and all the stakeholders and all the players and everybody who's part of it. So I'm going to ensure, and I'm going to promise you, and I want you to hold me to that I mend whatever bridges that exist between the two sides, if there were two sides, and I'll make sure that I lead for everyone.
Yep, we have you on tape saying that. So this country of Lyndon Victor and Anderson Phillip and Kirani James must be able to produce a world-class football team, or at least a football team that is highly competitive in the CFU and in CONCACAF. The mission now, Marlon Glean, is yours and your executive to build Grenada into that force. I want to thank you for your time. Wish you all the best. We'll be holding you to your word, and we're here to support.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Lance.
Great. Break time?
Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay informed.